It's exactly 11 p.m. in Abuja and Lagos in Nigeria. In Johannesburg, South Africa, it's midnight, and in Ghana, it's 10 p.m. Welcome to News at 10. I am Pa Kwesi Asare. In the next 30 minutes, we'll bring you the latest stories from across the country and beyond. But first, the day's top stories. The Northern Regional Security Committee, REGSEC, after an emergency security meeting on Friday, January 12, 2018, has with immediate effect reviewed the curfew hours in Bembela Township from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. following sporadic shooting at about 9:30 p.m. on Thursday, January 11, 2018. Curfew hours in Bembela for about 6 months have been between 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. REGSEC again has placed a ban on riding motorbikes with pillion riders. Elsewhere, about 200 personnel drawn from the police and military have been deployed to the Asante Achim North and Setra Farm Plains districts of the Ashanti region to flash out nomadic herdsmen. 3 security personnel were reportedly shot by the herdsmen who have been terrorizing indigents of the area. Elsewhere, the University of Mines and Technology at Tarkwa in the Western region has been renamed George Grant University of Mines and Technology. At a special congregation, the former President John Agyekum Kufuor was also installed its Chancellor. And in Parliament today, the Trades Minister, Alan Kojo Chermanten, has denied any payment made by expatriates to sit close to the President during the recently held Expatriate Awards in Accra. The ministry, he maintains, only facilitated the organization of the program and knows nothing about the sponsorship package. And also on the foreign front, U.S. President Donald Trump has sparked outrage by reportedly using crude language to describe foreign countries in an Oval Office meeting. Mr. Trump insists he did not insult Haitians and appeared to deny calling African nations shitholes, as was reported, prompting a global outcry. But Senator Richard J. Durbin, Democrat of Illinois, said on Friday the president did use the term shithole during the course of the meeting on immigration, which Durbin attended. The senator described Mr. Trump as saying things which were hate-filled, vile and racist. We've got all these plus many more coming up, but next is the big one. My name is Pa Kwesi Asare. Let's begin with about 200 personnel drawn from the police and military have been deployed to the Asante Achim North and Setra Farm Plains districts of the Ashanti region to flash out nomadic herdsmen. 3 security personnel were reportedly shot by the herdsmen who have been terrorizing indigents of the area.
The joint security team to augment the efforts of Operation Cowleg, an ongoing security operation aimed at halting the nefarious activities of herdsmen in the area. The reinforced team tasked to evict the nomadic herdsmen and remove their cattle from the area arrived at Agogo on Friday to enforce a 2012 High Court ruling which ordered the evacuation of cattle from Agogo. In the past 25 years, farmers in the area have accused the nomadic herdsmen of allowing their cattle to graze and destroy farmlands, which are their only source of livelihood. Failure to deal with the situation has led to persistent clashes between indigents of Agogo and the herdsmen, resulting in deaths from both sides. Following the recent shooting of 3 security officers by the herdsmen, there is a renewed drive to remove all cattle and evict the nomads from the area. Superintendent Ohene Bwedi insisted the herdsmen cannot be allowed to take over Agogo lands.
Are the Fulanis better than us? Can they shoot better than us? No, sir. Can they do the military and police job more than us? No, sir. They say they are guerrilla tactics, they are guerrilla fighters, and they are going to ambush you and shoot you. Please, I beg you in the name of God, nobody should die in the bush as a police or soldier or whatever. We are going back with our number and come back with our number. And to be safe, if you see anybody holding arms want to attempt you, please don't waste time.
Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer of Security Warehouse and a security analyst, Adam Bona, has stated the police are not trained to behave with impunity. He was reacting to the orders of Superintendent Bosman Ohiniboedu, Konongo Divisional Police Commander, early on Midday Live.
Over 200 police and military personnel having been deployed to evacuate the area. Is this the right way to go?
I am completely ashamed. I mean, the police commander, our police officers, we train them to keep peace, to bring about peace. We don't train our police officers and encourage them to talk this way with impunity. The way the police officer spoke is regrettable. The way the police officer spoke, I don't know how old you are, and those who are viewing and listening to me, if you remember the conflict in Liberia, Sierra Leone, when the ECOMOG needed to deploy, I remember vividly General Arnold Quenu telling the whole world that he's going to go with the troops and bring them back. The rest is history. It took a lot of negotiations and dialogue to bring about peace in those two West African countries. And so first of all, I want to condemn what the police commander said. No one should die. These deaths are needless. They are regrettable. And our police officers are not trained to go into the bush to kill. We didn't train them. We are not paying them to kill. The way he spoke, he's inciting people into violence. He's inciting his officers into violence. And I hope that the IGP, I'm told, is in the Volta region. His police commanders should speak in a manner that will bring about peace in this country. And so for him to say, when you see a leaf that is being blown by the wind, shoot it. That is not what we train them to do.
Now,
first of all, let me now go into the nitty-gritty of it. We are supposed to have had a ranching law. We haven't had it. Now, we are going to flash out I don't want to call them Fulanis. It's not every Fulani person who is a nomadic herdsman. A nomadic herdsman could be someone from Kwewu, could be anybody. And so tagging them as Fulanis, remember our second lady is a Fulani. And so please, let's be careful. We don't deploy to go and kill innocent people. Already 3 military officers have been shot. A police officer has been shot. We don't want any more injuries in that region. What the nomadic herdsmen are doing is not what is supposed to be done. We need to get them, we need to put them in confinement. America has more cattle than we have. Go to most of these countries. They have laws that encourage people to go into animal husbandry. That is what we like. So if we are going to flash them, are you moving them to another territory? Are we doing that, or we are just pushing the trouble ahead?
Now, so Mr. Bona,
yes.
Mr. Bona, so the question now is, how should government address this particular one? Clearly, we saw that the policeman was inciting. What if the other group also reacts to what they are doing? What are we trying to encourage?
Exactly. I heard quoting, I monitored him in your studio. Anytime you use violence to confront violence, they are going to be, both parties are going to lose. And so I would have wished that, as we have just had the special prosecutor being nominated, we've had a law being passed. We should have passed this ranching law long ago, formalizing it and making sure that these people are put in confinement. People produce hay to feed the animals. We import a lot of beef products in those countries. Why do we do that? Because we don't have the laws that encourage animal husbandry in this country. Food crops are being destroyed. Our women who go into farms can't go because they are being killed. police officers, military officers who go to defend them are not properly kitted, nobody armors. And so they go and they are shot at. And so what I am saying is that the bus moves and stops with government.
A reminder, you're still watching News at 10 live from our studios here at Adesawe in Accra. My name is Sparkus Yasari. We're also streaming live on Facebook. We'll take a short break. You're welcome back to News at 10 live on TV3. Let's now go to the north, where the Northern Regional Security Committee, REGSEC, after an emergency security meeting on Friday, January 12, 2018, has with immediate effect reviewed the curfew hours in Bimbilla Township from 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now, curfew hours in Bimbilla for about 6 months have been between 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. However, following sporadic shooting at about 9:30 p.m. on Thursday, January 11, 2018, that led to the death of 3 persons and 7 others critically injured. REGSEC again has placed a ban on riding motorbikes with pillion riders. Now, anyone seen riding a motorbike with another rider at the back will be dealt with, the Nanumba North District Chief Executive Abdullah Yakubu has revealed. Finally, a ban has also been placed on drumming within the township. Well, these directives, according to the REGSEC, will assist in restoring calm in the area in the interim. This was contained in a directive from REGSEC to the District Security Committee, that's the DISEC. Meanwhile, a total of 30 security made up of 20 police and 10 military personnel have been dispatched to beef up security in the area. In other news, the Ghana Revenue Authority has set off a target of 39 billion cedis for the year 2018, which it intends to meet on a quarterly basis. In 2017, the authority met 96.26% of its set target. Well, this, according to the Commissioner General Kofinti, is the best performance of the authority in the last 5 years.
Last year, 2017, we ended up with 32.4 million. As against a target of about 33.6 million. And so we're about 96.6 million on the target. Okay. And it was a very hard time. We worked hard. And then the growth in percentage relative to 2016 appeared to be the best in the last 5 years. So a lot happened in 2017. Which was positive. Going into 2018, the target's about 39 billion. And on that 39 billion, we've set our targets to make sure this time around we wouldn't wait till the Ghanaian balance the last minute, but that we are going to fight to meet the target on a quarterly basis. So the first quarter target is what we will be focusing on in the first quarter. When we cross the bridge, then we focus on the second quarter. We are putting in a lot of measures to ensure that we are able to advance our revenue collection for the state.
The University of Mines and Technology at Tarkwa in the Western region has been renamed the George Grant University of Mines and Technology. Well, at a special congregation, the former President John Agyekum Kufuor was also installed as Chancellor.
Originally known as the Tarkwa Technical Institute in 1952, when it was first established, the school became a fully fledged university in November 2004 by an Act of Parliament, Act 677, and commissioned in August 2005. President Kufuor was instrumental in the upgrading of the school into a university.
That I shall dedicate myself to the service and well-being of the university.
And to do right to all manner of persons.
And to do right to all manner of persons.
Chairman of the University's Council, Dr. Stephen S. Yurinchi, appealed to government to allocate funds to the school for the completion of projects. George Alfred Grant, popularly known as Pa Grant, was a merchant and a politician. The timber merchant established a flourishing export business at a time when the trade was dominated by European companies. As a political activist, he was the founder and first president of the United Gold Coast Convention (UGCC) in 1947. Grant was also a member of the Aborigines Rights Protection Society and was instrumental in many development projects, including introducing street lighting and pipe-borne water to Sekondi and Axim.
Let's go to Parliament now, where Trades Minister Alan Kwadwo Kyerematen has denied any payments made by expatriates to sit close to the president during the recently held Expatriate Awards in Accra. Well, the ministry, he maintains, only facilitated the organization of the program and knows nothing about the sponsorship package.
The Trade Minister was flanked by his two deputies. In his presentation, he indicated the Millennium Excellence Foundation approached the ministry in June last year requesting its assistance to organize the Maiden Expatriate Business Awards. It was followed with the signing of an MOU which clearly spelled out the responsibilities of both parties. According to him, the organization, mobilization of funds were all done by the foundation, including the sponsorship package through which some funds were raised. He denied any extortion, saying all monies contributed towards the event were voluntary. The Trades Minister revealed none of the 17 personalities at the presidential high table paid any money prior to the event. He, however, admitted the CEO of Interplast paid a cedi equivalent of $100,000 to support the program.
The company was represented by the executive chairman of the company, Mr. Fakri. Because this is, as we are saying, it is matter of public record now. Mr. Fakri has been known to the president for over 40 years. Indeed, the president has been the lawyer, was the lawyer of Mr. Fakri for many years. Are we suggesting that Mr. Fakri has to pay $100,000 to sit and speak to somebody who was his client so many years ago and a personal friend?
You have to be specific in the answers to the questions that are being asked. I take your reaction to this issue in good faith, and I understand why you would react the way you have reacted. But can we spare ourselves a sermon on the mountain and then get to the bottom of this matter?
Alan Kyerematen said no expatriate paid to have dinner with the president as is being speculated. Another issue that stirred controversy was whether or not the monies received were considered public funds. The Deputy Minority Leader James Kluche Aveji considered the money to be public funds which should have been deposited into the consolidated fund, but the sector minister disagreed.
Money being collected by a private organization for the purposes of organizing an event in collaboration with the government. How does that become public money?
You're saying it's a private money. I've agreed to that. Okay. And I'm saying that this law says that you can use government receipts to collect that private money and pay it to government account. That's my question.
Which law says that you cannot? It's very simple. You are alleged. So the burden of establishing that lies squarely upon you.
He was also cross-examined by the remaining members of the committee and subsequently discharged.
Now, government is seeking to raise 11 billion cedis in the first quarter of the year through debt securities. Of the amount, 9 billion cedis will be used to roll over maturities, and the remainder of 2 billion cedis be used to meet government financing requirements for the period.
A statement issued by the Debt Management Office of the Ministry of Finance indicated about 5 billion cedis in 91-day treasury bills will be issued in January, February and March. and a total of 1.8 billion cedis in 182 treasury bills also in the same period. A 1-year and 2-year note amounting to about 2.5 billion cedis will also be auctioned, while a 3-year 600 million cedis bond will be auctioned in February, and a 5-year 1 billion cedi bond will be auctioned in March. Economist Edu Owusu-Sarkodie said it's important for governments to be concerned about the end use of the money they borrow, adding that it's only appropriate if money borrowed is invested and the returns are higher than the interest.
As at the end of 2008, the public debt was around 9.5 billion, then it was increased to about 36 billion by the end of 2012. Then between 2013 and 2016, the public debt increased by about 88 billion Ghana cedis. So it's quite puzzling to see that your public debt stock increased that sharp within a certain period. The industrial sector didn't grow, and your GDP growth rate was so low, something doesn't add up. So the advice to this government is not to repeat certain mistakes that were made in the past. They must borrow and use the funds for infrastructure development for any activity that will grow the economy and create jobs.
The 11 billion cedis to be raised is lower than the 17.4 billion cedis raised by government in the same first quarter of 2017.
If you grow the real sector and your businesses are able to expand, these businesses would pay corporate tax, their employees will pay income tax, and government will in turn get its revenue back.
Now, the nomination of former Attorney General Martin Amidu as special prosecutor has stoked controversy. Daniel Opoku has been finding out reactions from legal and governance experts.
There have been mixed reactions over the appointment of Martin Amidu as special prosecutor. While the NDC insists the nominee is tainted and doubt his impartiality, others have touted the anti-corruption crusader as having demonstrated to be independently minded.
In our tradition, we say that if your mother is accused of witchcraft, to have the legitimacy to deal with other witches, you must first of all deal with your mother. And so we hope that, allegations of corruption emerging in this government will be dealt with seriously by the special prosecutor to obtain the necessary legitimacy to be able to deal with past questions of corruption and corruption-related offenses.
I believe that once it's coming from the NDC, he's therefore going to witch hunt his own political members. Do you see the same way?
Are there witches in those political parties? If there are no witches, there can be no witch hunt. So I don't understand this question of people talking about witch hunting, witch hunting, witch hunting. If you are not a witch, then there is no hunting.
The former Supreme Court judge was elated about his appointment and recalled Martin Amidu's role in fighting corruption as Attorney General.
When he was Attorney General, he was dealing most of the cases for government. When he was Attorney General, he did not shy for telling the President of this country no, when he thought he should say no. So I have very great...
Well, elsewhere, Senator Richard Durbin, Democrat of Illinois, said on Friday President Trump did use the term shithole during the course of the meeting on immigration of which Durbin attended. The senator described Mr. Trump as saying things which were hate-filled, vile, and racist.
As Senator Graham made his presentation, the president interrupted him several times with questions, and in the course of his comment, said things which were hate-filled, vile, and racist. I use those words advisedly. I understand how powerful they are. But I cannot believe that in the history of the White House, in that Oval Office, any president has ever spoken the words that I personally heard our president speak yesterday. You've seen the comments in the press. I have not read one of them that's inaccurate. To no surprise, the president started tweeting this morning denying that he used those words. It is not true. He said these hate-filled things, and he said them repeatedly. And then he went on when we started to describe the immigration from Africa that was being protected in this bipartisan measure. That's when he used these vile and vulgar comments. calling the nations they come from shitholes. The exact word used by the president, not just once, but repeatedly.
Well, so on that shithole note, we conclude news at 10. It came to you live from our news hub here in Accra. Thanks very much for watching. My name is Pa Kwesi Asare. We'll see you hopefully same time tomorrow.